Before there was Galactus the Devourer, before the Marvel Universe as we know it was even born, there was only silence. A silence that stretched across the very fabric of existence. Because the universe that came before ours was dying. And in its final days, one man stood alone. A man who would one day become something far greater. Something feared. Something worshipped. His name was Galan of Taa. The world of Taa was not like Earth. It was a paradise beyond imagination. A civilization of cosmic brilliance, technology, and wisdom. They had mastered science in ways modern humanity could never dream of. While we struggle with space travel, they had already mapped the stars. While we wonder about life after death, they had unlocked secrets of the cosmos itself. But even paradise cannot escape destiny. The universe itself was ending. The great cycle of creation and destruction was reaching its close. Galaxies collapsed. Stars died. Black holes devoured everything. And slowly, the people of Taa realized there would be no escape. Imagine it. A world filled with the greatest minds in existence. And not one of them could stop the inevitable. The end was coming. And the fabric of reality itself would soon unravel. But Galan was different. He was not content to simply die. He was a dreamer, a thinker, and perhaps even then fate had chosen him. As the end grew closer, a strange force began to whisper. The sentience of the universe, the very living will of creation, saw Galan. It saw his courage, his hunger, his defiance. And it chose him. In the final instant, when all else burned away, Galan was taken. Merged with the dying cosmos itself. Infused with its infinite power. His body was destroyed, but his essence transformed. And when the old universe died, and a new one was born, Galan was reborn with it. Not as a man, but as something entirely new. The first and last survivor. The eternal constant between death and creation. The being we would come to know as Galactus. But what truly happened in that moment of transformation? And how did a man of flesh become the Devourer of Worlds? That is where his dark legend truly begins. When the new universe was born, the stars lit up once more. Galaxies formed. Worlds spun into existence. But drifting in the endless void was a single cocoon of energy. The prison and cradle of a man who was no longer a man. Inside it, Galan of Taa slept. For eons. His body was gone. Yet his consciousness remained. He was being remade, shaped by forces beyond comprehension. When he finally awoke, he was not Galan anymore. His form was vast, radiant. He burned with the energy of a cosmic god. And yet, he was alone. The universe had forgotten him. No one remembered the world of Taa. No one remembered the man he once was. All that remained was hunger. The energy inside him was too great. It demanded fuel. At first, he tried to resist. He traveled through the stars, searching for a way to contain his endless power. But the truth was cruel. If he did not feed, he would die. And so it happened. On a young, thriving planet, Galactus made his choice. He consumed it. Entire mountains crumbled. Oceans boiled away. Cities vanished in a wave of burning cosmic fire. And when the destruction ended, the world was gone. Not conquered. Not enslaved. Erased. For the first time, Galactus fed. And for the first time, he lived. But this was not the act of a monster, at least not yet. This was survival. A new god's way of staying alive in a hostile universe. And slowly, he accepted it. Over the ages, he built his home. A ship unlike any other. The Taa-2. A massive, planet-sized fortress that carried him through the cosmos. It was not a weapon of conquest, but a throne of necessity. From within it, Galactus would hunt. Moving from star system to star system. Feeding when he must. But something strange began to happen. Worlds feared him. Whispers spread. And in time, the name Galactus was spoken not with awe, but with terror. He was no longer seen as a survivor. He was a devourer of worlds. A destroyer. Cosmic plague. And yet, for all the fear, Galactus was not without order. He did not kill for joy. He did not burn worlds at random. He sought balance. He chose carefully. And often, he spared civilizations by sending forth a warning. That warning came in the form of his heralds. The most famous of them all, Silver Surfer. But long before him, Galactus had many others. Each granted a portion of his power. Each bound to serve him, to find new worlds, to lead him to sustenance. They were not slaves. They were chosen. And they, too, became legends in their own right. But still, the hunger grew, could never be silenced. For this was the price of his transformation, the cost of being a god born from a dead universe. Galactus had become eternal, but so had his need. Here lies the question. Was he cursed? Or was he chosen? Some called him a monster. Some called him a natural force like gravity or death. And some whispered that Galactus was not a villain at all, but a necessity. For in his destruction, new life always found a way to grow. Worlds died, but the universe endured. And so, the man who was once Galan of Taa was lost forever. In his place stood something new. Neither man nor god. Neither good nor evil. A force. A balance. A devourer. But the real question remains, is Galactus truly a god of survival? Or is he the greatest monster the universe has ever known? The answer lies not only in his past, but in the role he plays in the eternal cycle of life and death. And that leads us to the final question of his legend. Is Galactus a destroyer, or the universe's most misunderstood savior? Imagine this. You live on a peaceful world. Your people thrive. Your sky is bright. And then, a shadow falls. That shadow is not a storm, not an army, not even a god from myth. It is something beyond all of that. It is Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, a being so vast, so unstoppable, that resistance is meaningless. In that moment, to the people below, he is the very definition of a monster. But here is the truth. Galactus does not see himself that way. He does not conquer worlds like Darkseid. He does not demand worship like Apocalypse. He is not cruel. He is not vengeful. He is hungry. To Galactus, feeding is not evil. It is survival. The same way a lion must hunt, or a fire must burn. The same way humans eat to live, Galactus consumes planets to exist. He is a force of nature, not a villain plotting in shadows. Still, perspective is everything. For the billions of lives wiped out in his path, Galactus is the ultimate destroyer. For cosmic beings who understand the balance of the universe, he is something far more complex. In fact, legends whisper of a prophecy, that Galactus is not simply a plague, but a necessary guardian of the cosmos. Some say that without him the universe would spiral into chaos, that his presence keeps greater evils at bay, that his destruction makes room for creation. For every world consumed, another rises in its place. Heroes, of course, rarely see it that way. Thor has struck him with his hammer. The Fantastic Four have fought him more than once. Silver Surfer himself rebelled against him, torn between loyalty and morality. And yet, none of them could truly destroy him. Why? Because Galactus is not meant to die. He is woven into the very fabric of reality. He is a survivor of the last universe, destined to endure until the next. He is the bridge between endings and beginnings, the cycle of death and rebirth given form. So we must ask, is Galactus a god? Yes, he commands power on a level that dwarfs most beings in existence. He shapes galaxies with a thought. He bends heralds to his will. Is he a monster? Yes, he brings extinction, terror, and loss beyond measure. His arrival means death for entire civilizations. But perhaps the more unsettling truth is this: Galactus is neither. And he is both. Because in the end, Galactus is not a question of morality. He is a question of balance. He does not punish. He does not reward. He does not hate. He does not love. He simply is. The universe needs him, even if the people within it cannot accept that truth. To call him good or evil is to misunderstand what he represents. He is survival. He is hunger. He is destiny. And yet, there is tragedy here. For within the gods still lies the shadow of the man who was once Galan of Taa. A man who tried to save his people. A man who was chosen by the sentience of the universe. A man who never asked to become a god. When he looks across the endless stars, does he remember who he was? Or has that man been completely consumed by the hunger? That is the question that makes Galactus one of the most fascinating beings in all of Marvel's cosmos. He is not just power. He is not just hunger. He is the eternal survivor, the first being of this universe, and the last who will remain when it ends. So when the name Galactus is whispered in fear, remember this: he is not only the Devourer of Worlds. He is the echo of a man, the shadow of a god, and the reminder that in every beginning, there must always be an end. This is the story of the man who became a god. This is the story of Galactus. And in the end, the question is not whether we fear him, but whether the universe itself could survive without him. And if you want more deep dives into the forgotten legends of Marvel and DC, don't forget to subscribe. Because next time, we'll uncover the dark truth behind another god who walks among mortals.